Hey, this is Sun Young and I'm Halfaamazing, and today I decided to tell more random stories because they're actually kind of fun to tell. This lighting is so bad. Hold on. Well, this is scary. As you can see, I've gotten a curtain, which is nice, so now through my game playthroughs it won't be ultra bright in here when it doesn't have to be. I put it up now just because my room, like the window, is actually covered in dead bugs. I did clean it after I made that bugs video. I cleaned my walls, I cleaned my windows, and then they just kept coming back, and so, yeah. Pain! It's something we all experience, you know? Physical pain, I mean. Pain's a great teacher. It teaches us not to be stupid. And when I was young, I was so stupid. I would like run over here and over there. My mom would say, "Don't touch that." I touch that. You know, climbing in trees. I spent a lot of my childhood in trees and also on the ground, writhing in pain. I have so many scars on my knees. Maybe I should count them. Okay, so my outfit. I met my friend today. My friend saw me and he was like, "Why do you look like a Boy Scout?" He was so right. I totally look like a Boy Scout today. That was not on purpose, but I'm thinking about buying a yellow scarf things so I can just have a random Cub Scout cosplay. That'll be fun. Anyway, so my knees is the subject here. Knee number 1. Generally a scar here. There's one right there, one right there. So that's 3. Generally one right here also, so that's 4. One long one right there, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have a lot of scars on my knees. I'm a special person because I am ultra clumsy. I crash into walls, sliding glass doors, I don't see them there sometimes. I get random bruises and cuts and don't know where I got them from. I trip over air. And yeah, I run into corners of like doors and anywhere there's a corner, I think my body just can't quite, my eyes and my body don't work together. The eyes see the corner, but the body's like, I don't want to move. Which is why I've had a lot of experiences where I've been dumb and gotten myself into trouble and went through a lot of pain because of it. The first major injury that I can think of was when I was, what grade was I in? 2nd grade or 3rd grade? Maybe 4th grade? One of those. We had a large hill next to our school. My friends and I would go over there and we'd run around and play on the hill, right? Sometimes we'd go sledding on it, like during recess. When spring came, it didn't melt all of the ice. There was still quite a large patch of ice on the side of the hill so you could slide down it. And so my friends and I thought, this is great. I have a great idea. Let's pretend we're penguins. Cool. So we'd walk up the side where the grass was and go down the ice on our stomachs. But I thought, being the ultra smart person that I am, I'd like to walk up the ice this time. I took like a couple of steps on the ice. There was like a little bump and my foot hit this bump in the ice and I slipped, my foot slipped and my face smashed against the ice. They had these blue gloves that I always wore outside because it was still cold. And I held my eye like this and everyone started to gather around and what's wrong? Are you okay? And the teacher, she's like, give her some space. And she's like, let me see it. And so I remember taking my hands off and all the kids were like, I don't really remember what happened after that moment because I guess it wasn't important enough to remember. But I do remember my mom taking me to the hospital and they glued it or something. They glued it and they gave me some kind of weird band-aid. Oh, it was this side. Why am I pointing to this side? Next time I asked my mom for my gloves, she was like, I washed them so many times, but I couldn't wash the blood out. Those gloves used to be blue and now are purple. Eventually they did get thrown away, but I actually used them for a little while after the event. My bloody gloves, I don't know why. Remember that long scar I showed you on my leg here? Can I stretch that far? No! That is not from falling out of a tree or off a bike or tripping or anything. That is from something a lot more stupid. What can be stupider than just falling flat on your face, you say? Well, there's a lot of things. Elementary school still. I did a lot of dumb stuff when I was in elementary. And I was playing, pretending I was a frog. And so I had this plastic box. You know, the plastic boxes that you use to sort items in your house. We had a lot of those in our house. So I made like a trail with them so I could be a frog and hop on my lily pads. I don't know if I was playing by myself or with my brother, but I do know my brother was there. I started on the couch in my basement and I hopped onto the first box and I fell right through. The plastic box could not hold my weight. I think I was getting too big, and I crashed right through it, and it cut my skin really deep. And my brother, he was there. He saw it happen, and I think he told me that it was kind of scary, and I'm sure it was scary to see, because it was a deep cut. My parents didn't take me to the doctor, I don't think. I think my mom just put some, you know, stuff on it, and we had like this routine with gauze, and I would like take it off and change the gauze out. The crap coming out of it would like harden and adhere to my skin, and then I'd have to rip it off again. But I kept having to do that, and it did not feel good. I remember that hurting. There are, I think, two kinds of people. People who like to have the pain quick, or people who like to have it slow, and I'm one of the slow people. I can't take it. Like jumping into a pool, can't do it. I gotta slowly enter the pool if it's cold. And I can't just rip a band-aid off. I have to slowly like peel it off. I don't know why I prefer it that way. It just feels safer that way. I don't know. So after getting all these injuries, you'd think I'd learn. But no, it gets worse. I graduated from just injuring myself to near-death experiences. So there are several times that I almost died. The first one was, I don't know, somewhere around 5th or 6th grade. My friend had a tandem bike, and that's a bike where one person pedals and one person stands on these two pegs on the back wheel and holds the other person's shoulders, and they ride together. We had gone somewhere, I don't know. Then it was my turn to pedal, so we were going to her house. We were going pretty fast. The thing about this bike is though, and she told me this before we got on it, she's like, it doesn't have any brakes. Like the brakes don't work. I said, sounds great, we'll be fine. We weren't fine. Nothing is fine. I think maybe there was a hill and we were, you know, going down it because we had quite a bit of speed, and there was a car that was coming from around the corner. Sometimes you get those roads where no matter how hard you look, cars can still like take you out in a second because you just can't see it until it's like right in front of you. It was like one of those corners, and so the car was coming and we were rolling towards it. I didn't know what to do. I completely froze, and honestly, if it hadn't been for my friend, we would have both been injured. My friend, who is smarter than me, thank the Lord. While she jumped off, she also kind of yanked me off of the bike. We both fell to the ground. The bike kept rolling forward, and then eventually it rolled forward and then fell right in the middle of the street, and then we watched the car go by, and we looked at each other, we were like, what just happened? That friend also, we did another thing when we were same age. She had some leftover french fries from a restaurant or whatever, and we were hungry. We were like, we need a snack. And she's like, let's eat these leftover french fries. And I was like, okay. So she was like, I'll put them in the microwave. But I don't think she realized that you can't put tinfoil in the microwave. I didn't realize this either. No one told me that. All I remember is that I was in another room. We were watching TV or something maybe, and there was a small fire in her microwave. Another time that I almost died. So I went to Honduras on a missions trip with my school in 7th grade. There was like a little creek or river type thing. You know what? I wouldn't call it a creek. I would call it a river. In the back area of where we were staying. Beautiful, beautiful place. There was like sort of a forest, and then after that there were just rocks everywhere, and then the river, and on the other side you could see mountains. It was beautiful, and the water was so blue and so clear. It was amazing, and so we were all like, let's go swimming. And so we all put our, you know, swimsuits on. I, of course, self-conscious me, puts a t-shirt on over my swimsuit. That's why if I have any pictures that I bring up, you'll see that for some reason I'm wearing a shirt. There was a certain area that we had to stay within. There was a big boulder that we would all jump off and then swim back up and jump off and swim back up, but if you go too far down, it's not good because that's where the river rapids start. That's where the water starts to get really violent, and there's a lot more rocks that you can hit your head against. And so they told us, don't go down there, because if you get stuck in there, the river rapids will take you, and you'll drown. You'll hit your head on a rock. You'll get hurt. So we weren't allowed to go past the point. So there was the boulder here, and there was space, and there was one single rock, and there was a little more space, and then there was just river rapids. You could see it. Over here where we were, the water was pretty, there was still a little bit of a current, but the water was generally calm, and there weren't too many rocks in the way, so it was safe. Some boys decided they wanted to swim out to this one rock, And so they did. And they were swimming out to this one rock, climbing on top of the rock, and then swimming to the shore, and then doing it again. I don't know why they kept doing that, but they did. And I was like, I want to try that. That seems fun. So I swam out to this one rock. And when I got there, I made a horrifying discovery. This rock, the bottom of it, the part that was under the water, was entirely covered in the most slippery moss I've ever felt in my life. I had my hands, both of my hands, gripping that rock as hard as I could, and my legs under the water were trying to get a grip. I couldn't because it was so slippery. I just kept, my legs are doing this under the water. The current is pulling me towards the dangerous waters behind me, and I know if I let go, I'll be down there, and who knows what could happen. Like, would they be able to catch me? Would they be able to help me? I don't know. So I was gripping to that rock for dear life. My legs are frantically trying to get up, and I was like, this could be it. I was seriously thinking that. I know, like, it might not seem as such a dangerous situation, but to me, it was really scary. Like, I thought, this is it. This is the end. Noticing this, the teachers and the other kids were like, hey, you okay? And I'm like, I can't get up. I need help. So thankfully, one of my classmates came over and actually completely lifted me out of the water. And I was like, I'm never doing that again. After that point, I've been pretty safe because I think I'm starting to learn. I mean, I've had a few mishaps here and there. That video where I was with my brother at Gwanaksan in Seoul, the mountain, I was not filming when this happened, but I nearly fell down the mountain. I don't know, my legs were tired, and so there was some like gravel, you know, when you step on a lot of gravel you can kind of slide forward, and my legs kind of gave out, and then I slid quite a ways down the mountain. I was able to stop myself, but at the expense of my hands. And also, I almost got ran over when I was living back in Suwon. I was walking with my friend across the street, and it was like a weekend, and there was a lot of people and a lot of cars. And there was a woman who was pulling up, and I was crossing, and I made eye contact with her. When you make eye contact with a driver, and you keep walking, and you look at him like, okay, I'm gonna keep going, you have to wait, because pedestrian. Because it was a pedestrian area, and she looked at me and didn't move the car, totally fine. So we're walking, and then suddenly, she just speeds up, and I had to literally put my hands on the hood of her car and jump to avoid the car ramming my legs. Like, I pulled a parkour. It was pretty awesome. Nah, not really. A lot of people do get injured in Korea because of the cars. People don't watch where they're going here, you know? Motorcycles obey absolutely no laws, for sure. They ride on sidewalks, they ride on streets, in between cars, past stoplights. I was in a car once when when it got bumped because someone thought, there's enough space, but there wasn't enough space. So I don't really know what the point of this video was. I just felt like talking about being clumsy and getting hurt and almost dying. Anyway, hope you enjoyed hearing about my pain and almost death. This Boy Scout is out. If you liked the video, please press that like button. If you'd like to see more of my videos, please subscribe. Bye-bye.